comes from. I looked up. This is what I typed. I'm starting a podcast on mental fitness and early career development. I have a host today, Kevin Zhang. He is the community manager at Watermans Business Centers. Can you see the screen?
Yeah. Oh, it's no longer called Waterman Business. We've changed our name to Waterman Workspaces.
Oh, Waterman Workspaces. Okay.
Yeah, we've recently changed it. It's a new branding.
Oh, okay. Cool. And then I said I want to aim for 3 key parts using 3 key questions and totaling less than 10 minutes for highly engaged conversation. Give me 3 questions and bullet points alongside typical podcast structure on opening and closing so that I, as the host, can read this and facilitate. And then just a quick description of the podcast. So I think this is a good place to start. And I thought this is a interesting way to start because this is where AI is going. And just want to highlight just one way to start a podcast.
Yeah, it actually is really good. I actually really like it.
Yeah, rather than trying to plainly search within on what we want to talk about. I guess this can start us off and then we can go from there. So maybe we'll kick off.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Thanks for your time, man. So I guess
good, bro.
In terms of mental fitness, what's on your mind these days around mental fitness?
I mean, personally, it's actually been really hard for me as of late. I've recently switched church. So, as you know, for the past 7 to 8 years, I've spent all my energy and obviously my time building up a community. And that community was a big part of my mental fitness. To have a community, to have people that is always there for you, and when you have a bad day, you can go talk to. It has been a massive part of who I am, and really helps me with the day-to-day. Recently, when I switched to a new church, I just did it without thinking about the ramifications of what it means to leave a community or a tribe. These are my tribe. And it has been tough in the way that I no longer have that support system in place as I've started my, master's of, finally mental health counseling. I'm still running my own business in photography and I work full time. So it has been a really challenging time for myself. And it's something that I have to recognize that I am struggling with. I realize that I am dealing with anxiety when it comes to putting myself in crowds of unfamiliarity, people that I have no previous connection with. So that just means a connect group in a church sense, where I have to go into that unfamiliar space surrounded by familiar people, and I have to go and do the whole who are you, what are you doing, or what's your job, kind of thing. And so I found myself to really have anxious thoughts and anxiety attacks when that scenario has popped to my mind. I noticed my breath to be really short. So mental fitness at the moment means reaching out to the right people. And I've reached out to people at work, my teammates. It's really awesome. What I get to do with my teammates is my teammates, the other community managers, we're all people of faith. So we're actually more like friends rather than teammates. We do hang out outside of work. And to have that safe space where we essentially each week we do this thing called a sit down, and then we each go around saying a number 1 to 10, how you doing, how you doing at work, and how you doing in your personal life. And that is a safe space where we share what's going on at work, what's on our mind, but as well as personal lives and how we can pray and believe and encourage each other. So one of my teammates shared about the story of when he was in Egypt recently, how he almost died because of a car crash, and how he has trauma in regards to that, and how it has been difficult because he's experienced so many different times and of near-death experience in cars, and that was his space of, hey, this is who I am, this is my weakness, this is what I'm dealing with. Can we pray with each other and believe for each other and counsel each other. So that has been one thing that's been really useful. And the other thing for me was obviously, so firstly, reach out to people, like actually so that they can hear you out, but second, to actually act on it. So the example for that would be after I spoke to them about my anxiety, and that one of them invited me to their connect group. And I really enjoyed connecting with these guys because I actually know half of the room already. So it felt a lot more familiar for me to be actually opening up to these guys. And so what I'll do is then I will use them as my community until I am connected to my community at church, which hasn't happened yet. And the other thing is just knowing right now, knowing what my mental state is, and not being afraid to be vulnerable, but actually have a plan of action when it comes to how to deal or how to, I guess, be strong in your weakness. So for me, one thing that really also impacted my mental health was, for the past month, I've been sick. I haven't been able to go to the gym. Gym is something that I use massively to my mental health benefit. And yeah, this week, it's my first week back in the gym, and I can really tell there's a lot more that's off here now. There's a lot that I'm able to, I guess, that the pressures and the negative thoughts and whatever I have in my mind, I'm able to let go through physical activity. And for me, that's powerlifting, that's gym. Being able to return to that, knowing that that it is not a chore, understanding that it is very much a journey that you get to be on with physical health, and how that translates to mental health has been my key, I guess, to mental fitness.
I'm hearing
for the past 5 years.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of like familiarity, sense of community, sense of home, a sense of rhythm, that interaction between the physical fitness and the mental fitness, and awareness and action-driven attitude is kind of what I'm hearing around your tips.
I think awareness is especially important one. Recently, I was having a conversation with one of the tenants at work. She admitted to me that she has a massive anxiety attack or panic attack. These are very different, I gotta say. I think hers is anxiety, not panic attack. She admitted to me that every time she has to go up and present to the board regarding a design or a new product launch, she feels really anxious. And I said to her, hey, next time, before you walk in, do breathing, deep breath in, out, do that 3 times, and notice how your body feels before and after. And she did that, and she killed it. And she did say to me, yep, it was of massive help. And my point to her was that, hey, the fear that you experience is actually the same fear as back in the days when when early humans would get eaten by tigers. It's the same fear now, it's just in a different form. Said that back then it was life and death, and right now it's not. So to learn to recognize what your body is how your body is reacting to a certain emotion is really important. So for example, when I am stressed at work, I realize my body will tense up, especially on the neck and shoulder area. That's a sign for me to lock myself in the room, to either take 10 minutes to do a breathing meditation, or to just spend 2-3 minutes to do a breathing exercise. It's to do, I won't get into it today, but it's to do with your frontal cortex and the part that controls your animal instincts. I forgot the exact name of it, but when stress kicks in, the small part takes over the frontal. Your human reasoning goes away. And survival kicks in.
This is the decision-making part, right? That's when you go like, oh, and panic.
Yeah, decision-making part, but that goes away really quickly and stress and everything kicks in. And then the reptilian part, the survival part, the part that has no reason will kick in. And then your reaction will be one of, hey, survival kick in, cortisol kicks in, stress response kicks in. But that's, like a lot of what we deal with now is not life and death.
It's more life and shame and disappointment, or anticipation of a possible disappointment.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So to recognize how your body reacts is often the first step. And just give yourself grace that it's okay to not be okay. One thing that I did realize that I had to do is to, with my study, I learned to actually embrace every emotion. And what I mean by that is each emotion serves a purpose. And oftentimes people will, when they feel sad or ashamed or whatever negative emotion is, they will try and wrestle with that. They'll try and correct that to feel happy again. But happiness is not a constant state. You might be here today, but you might be here tomorrow, but the day after. So it's very much not about how we feel day to day, but more the long-term trend. And so to allow yourself to feel the emotions. So I said this to the team today. I felt really sad and lonely, and I allow myself to cry if I had to. I'm not fighting my emotions. I'm letting myself to actually feel it and to process it.
So how do you balance between emotions to let it run versus the anxiety and fear? You've mentioned just before that it's not the actual fear that we need to experience, it's more a false alarm was what I was getting. And then you mentioned there are other sets of emotions that you would want to let it run and kind of let your body or let you experience through those emotions rather than fighting it. How do you balance between those two? How do you identify between those two?
I'm good at recognizing when it is an anxiety attack. It's again, anxiety and a panic attack is very different. They're two very different things. Panic attacks happen very suddenly, whereas anxiety, it's something that's very deeply rooted. One is emotions. One is happiness, sadness, loneliness that you feel, and the other thing is, oh crap, my body's shutting off. I'm short on breath. So when I feel sad, obviously I don't have that short of breath. I just feel sad. When my anxiety attack gets triggered whenever I think about the situation that I'm about to put myself in, and that a lot of times in other people that stops them from ultimately doing that thing. I'm trying to recognize it. I'm trying to breathe through it, and breathing, again, I can't emphasize enough how important breathing is in helping to manage anxiety attacks, as well as when you have panic attacks. You breathe through it so that you allow your body's levels to return. But I'm not letting that, or I'm choosing to not let that stop me from still reaching out to a community and from stopping me from ultimately doing what will, get me better, my mental health to a better state.
Yeah, I did have other questions, but I think you've answered the first question really well. The other question that came up was around, so we're taking questions from ChatGPT.
Thanks, ChatGPT.
ChatGPT has said, In your experience as a community manager and through interactions with professionals, what are some common barriers or misconceptions people face when it comes to personal growth, and how can they overcome them?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, anxiety and panic
That's a
attack
good
one. And I think there will be other themes that you think will be valuable for others to hear.
My thing is with, obviously, I come across with people of different professions and different backgrounds and ethnicity. My thing as a community manager is to get to know the person, not as what they do, but as who they are as a human. So my interaction with a CEO may look different than my interaction with our cleaning lady or cleaning guy. But at the end of the day, I want to get down to the bottom of who they are as a person. And I feel like a lot of times people associate what they do with their identity. And then that stops them from wanting to grow. A good example that came to mind is a girl who's of, I think, Desi descent. I think she's from India. She moved to Australia not too long ago. She said to me, "Hey, Kev, I actually really want to pursue mental health." Now that for her is a really big personal growth goal, but there's a lot of limitations stopping it. As in, I want to have a kid now. I'm getting married. I'm already married. I want to have kids in the future. I'm in a stable job. This is who I am now. This is my identity. But that is really, I don't see why. Obviously, I understand that there's a struggle and you have to provide for the family and you want to be focused on having kids. But at the end of the day, that has become her identity, and that has set a limitation in her head as to given her reasons as to why she can't pursue this dream of going into mental health as a career. When I share with her what I wanted to do, and she knows that I have my own business on top of working full-time at Waterman, she said, "Wow, you're so brave. I could never do what you're doing." But in my mind, I'm just like, you really can. It's really not that hard. It's a sacrifice, of course. This is 8:40 p.m. right now on a Saturday. I just finished doing assignments. That's me every single Saturday when my friends are out there partying, having fun or doing whatever they're doing. I'm by myself at my co-working space. No one's around me. I'm studying. There's a lot of sacrifice that goes into doing something that is worth a while. But for her, that what she's doing in her circumstance has really limited her, given her reasons as to why she can't do what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. So it's really around the self-limiting belief and the set identity that prevents your possible opportunities and growth.
Yeah. So the best example, the easiest one would be so let's say I'm a businessman and I have a degree in financial advisory. My belief will be I can never study mental health because this is who I am. I'm a business advisor. I cannot be a mental health professional. But in reality, for me as a Christian, my identity is rooted in who God is, and my identity is a son of God. For me, I understand that what I do as a community manager, as a wedding photographer, as a future mental health counselor is not my identity. If you take all that away from me, I still have an identity. Yeah.
So using that the framework that you've mentioned just before, not looking at someone with by their job or by their set identity, I could have called you as Kevin, the community manager, Kevin, the photographer. What is your why? What is your purpose or your vision at the moment, other than your job title? How would you kind of summarize your current role without using your job title?
My current role is to care for people and to really care not what they do, but who they are. And that is why I've chosen to take on a 4.5-year journey of studying mental health counseling.
Is it 4.5 years?
4.5 years, part-time, trimesters, one paper per trimester, 4.5 years. It's a long time. It's a big sacrifice. It means that relationship and friendship and family will be really hard for me to keep up with. But my end goal is to be someone who can, at the end of my life, go, I've helped one person to be better. And that's enough for me. You know, so it's a sacrifice I'm willing to take. It's hard, it's very lonely, but it'll pay off. Yeah. Delayed gratification.
Delayed gratification.
Yes.
That's key. That's key.
Yeah, that's key.
Yeah. So what's your plan for Saturday now?
My plan for what?
Your Saturday. Are you gonna go gym now?
Yeah. Look, it's pretty late. I still have to go home and eat. Then I might delay it to tomorrow morning. But
delay your gratification.
It's not good to gym late because it does impact your sleep. So
yeah,
I rather sleep early and wake up early and then gym tomorrow. But yeah, thank you, Sanjay. I gotta, obviously, this is about me today, but I gotta go back and ask you now, right? Some of your stuff whenever, do you have time to talk about you today?
Yeah, if you have time, we'll just end this part and then we'll go from there. So I guess this will be the part 1. And then we'll go to part 2.
We can do part 2 next week.
Yeah.
And then part 2 will be I guess reflecting on the conversation and how what resonates with you from our conversation and where you are at and all of that as well.
So if there was a keyword, how would you summarize your intention today? If the podcast has a few keyword title, what would that be, given what you talked about today?
Ooh. I think it's to know and to recognize your own weaknesses or / vulnerability. To know when you're not well, to respond in a manner that is conducive to the betterment of your mental health.